One race, a golden ticket, and 30 years of data to crack the code. This is the Jockey Club Gold Cup Stakes, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. But it's much more than just a prep. This race has crowned legends from Cigar and Curlin and Tonalist. The Gold Cup has been a proving ground for American racing greatness. Now run at Saratoga, 1.25 miles on the dirt, it is the headline of the closing weekend of the summer meet. And that makes me so sad. The pressure's on and the timing couldn't be more critical with the Breeders' Cup just weeks away. How will you find your winner? Facts and figures are going to give you the winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra. And the end of the summer means the end of the Saratoga meet. And oh, I don't want to see that happen. But we have a headline race, and that is the Jockey Club Gold Cup Stakes. It's going to send one horse to the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, before I get started, let me just remind you, horse betting is not legal in every state. So if you're betting, make sure it's legal. In this video, I'm going to go way back 30 years to find those key angles, the trends, the stats that have consistently pointed to the winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Then we're going to go contender by contender and look at how they measure up against those key angles to figure out who hits that historical mold. Now, my channel is all about community, so do me a favor and drop me a comment below and tell me who you really like for this race. You know I love those comments. Now let's get started where I always like to start, those angles. So I look back through the last 30 years of data and found 6 angles that we could use to help us evaluate each of the contenders. Now remember, the angles are just stats. You really need to put them in context of each of the horses. And because many of the horses in this year's race are fitting these overall angles, I had to refine them just a bit to draw some differentiation between the contenders. And the first angle is one of those. Every horse, and yes, I said it, every horse who won this race in the past 30 years had a win at a longer distance, which I typically define as 1.1 miles. Now, all horses except for one in this year's race, the number 6, Contrary Thinking, had a win at 1.8 miles or longer. So I refined it a bit and I said who had a win at this distance, 1.25 miles. For this year's edition of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, there are 4 horses with a win at this distance. The number 2, Highland Falls, actually last year's winner of this race. The number 3, Sierra Leone, and the number 5, White Abarrio, although that was back in 2023. Oh, and the number 7, Phileas Fogg, who has 2 wins at this distance, 1 here in July. The second angle is class, and what I mean by that is a graded stakes win. 27 of the last 30 winners of this race had a graded stakes win, a whopping 90%. The 3 that didn't were the 2023 winner Bright Future, the 2020 winner Happy Saver, and 2017 Diversify. Now, I'm not going to park on this angle very long because all horses except for one, the number 6, Contrary Thinking, has a graded stakes win. Next up also has to do with class, and that is prepping in a G1 race. In the past 30 years, 20 of the 30 winners, 67% prepped in a G1 race. In this race, we only have 3 that are not coming out of a G1 race, and that is the number 7, Phileas Fogg, and 8, Antiquarian. They prepped in the G2 Suburban, and the number 9, Banishing, who prepped in the G2 Charlestown Classic. Now, I don't usually differentiate between G1 and G2 in the prep race, but if I didn't, we would have seen all horses prepped in a graded stakes race, and we do see that high win rate for G1 preppers. Today's race, a lot of these horses are coming out of the G1 Whitney. The fourth angle is going to be form, and what I mean by that is the condition that they are entering this race. And here I'm looking for a win or a place in their prep race. 19 of the past 30 winners, 63%, had a win or a place in their prep race. Now 63% may not seem that high to you, so upgrade or downgrade that as you'd like, but we only see 3 horses in today's field that don't meet this stat. The number 1, Disarm, the number 5, White Abarrio, and the number 6, Contrary Thinking. The 5th angle is one I usually explore, and that is running style. And here I'm looking at being forwardly placed. I look for who's going to be in the lead or who's going to have tactical speed, meaning being so many lengths from the leader at the half pole. But when I look back over the full 30 years, what did I find? Only 53% of the time, the leader was forwardly placed. Now then I only looked at when the race was here at Saratoga, and that was 100% of the time. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to look at the pace of this race. It looks like it's going to be a fast-paced race with the number 6, Contrary Thinking, the number 7, Phileas Fogg, maybe even White Abarrio, Antiquarian, Banishing, all being up close. And because of that, I'm going to upgrade the 2 that have the highest late pace, and that is Sierra Leone and Disarm. I'm also going to give a nod to this race being here at Saratoga and look for who has the best tactical speed, and that is Mindframe and Highland Falls. So when you put this all together along with top speed, what do you see? The 2 horses that stand out, Highland Falls and Sierra Leone, but also Mindframe. Now, before you just take those and run, it's really important that we go horse by horse. You need to put the angles in context of the horses because you may miss your chance on either upgrading or downgrading some of these horses. So now it's time to go contender by contender. First up is Disarm. Trained by Steve Asmussen, he'll be ridden by Joel Rosario. And Rosario was on him in his last race, the G1 Whitney, 1.1 miles here at Saratoga. Now, Steve Asmussen has won this race 4 times in the past 30 years. 17 starts, 4 wins, 3 places, and 4 shows. He has tried this distance 4 times, but has never gotten the win. 2 places and 1 show. Top buyer for this distance, 103. Now looking at his angles, he's a bit light. 3 do match, including a graded stakes win, but that was 2023, the Matt win on a sloppy track. Now he did prep in a graded stakes race, the Whitney, here at Saratoga, but he finished 3rd behind 2 contenders who are also in this race, Sierra Leone and Highland Falls. Now, we do upgrade him with his running style because he has that strong late kick, but we did see in the Whitney, Sierra Leone's kick was much the best. In that race, Disarm was on the rail, and he actually made a move long before Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone and Highland Falls were much the best, but he did finish willingly and got the 3rd place finish. Now, if we do look at his year-to-date performance, he has a win in March, but it was against weaker in a $131,000 allowance race going 1.16 miles at Oaklawn. This is a talented horse, strong late kick, really good trainer who knows how to get in the winner's circle for this race. And if the pace setup works out for him, we may see another performance like the Whitney. But given his stats, and he's been up against some of these horses recently and hasn't gotten the win, personally, he wouldn't be high on my list to be a win contender in this race. The number 2 horse is Highland Falls, who won this race last year. He's a 5-year-old by Curlin who also won this race and is trained by Brad Cox and will be ridden by Luis Saez. Now, Saez recently rode him to his 2nd place finish in the G1 Whitney, 1.8 miles here at Saratoga. This is a horse very strong on the angles, meeting all of them. 12 starts, 6 wins, and that means half of the time he finds his way to the winner's circle. 3 places in 1 show, so 10 of the 12 times on the board. In fact, the only 2 times he has not been on the board was when he traveled to California. Highland Falls has tried this distance 3 times, and like I mentioned, he got the win in last year's edition of the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Now, he was 7-1 that day. He and Arthur's Ride, last year's winner of the Whitney, go right to the lead. Now, he stalks on the outside of Arthur's Ride. He tests Arthur's Ride going around the turn and puts his head in front. He duels him, but he wins by 4 lengths, 104 buyer. That was incredible. He's got 7 starts that are graded stakes, 2 wins and 3 places. So this horse has the class. Now let's look at what he did in the Whitney a few weeks ago. That Whitney is a key prep race for this race. There are 5 runners in this race coming out of the Whitney, including Highland Falls. We also have Disarm, Sierra Leone, White Abarrio, and Contrary Thinking. Now, he was actually my pick for the Whitney, and I held my breath because I thought he was going to beat Sierra Leone. He comes out of post position 3. He breaks really well. He gets to the rail. Now, there are a couple long shots going way out front, and he is just stalking. So, as he goes around the turn, he makes his move. Fierceness has the lead, but Highland Falls has the momentum until Sierra Leone has the momentum, and then they're dueling it out. But Sierra Leone had that powerful late kick, but we also see Highland Falls, grit and heart, and he only loses by a length. I really like his chances in this race. I understand it may be a fast-paced race and it may set up for Sierra Leone again, but he has the win at this distance. He has a win in this race. He has a top buyer. He has that class I'm looking for. Now, I could say most of those things about Sierra Leone too. So if you're comparing the two, it may just come down to running style. What's going to do better in this race? The late pace or the tactical speed? Now, speaking of Sierra Leone, the number 3 horse is Sierra Leone. Trained by Chad Brown, he'll be ridden by Flavien Prat, his regular rider. Now, this horse is top in earnings, $6.8 million, 12 starts, 5 wins, 4 places, and 3 shows, which means he always hits the board. Now, that's not the most impressive thing. If you look at the races he's been running in, they are all graded stakes races, except for that maiden win. I said it, all graded stakes races. That includes a 2nd place finish in last year's Derby, a 3rd place finish in last year's Belmont, and a 3rd place finish in the Travers. And he is our 2024 Breeders' Cup Classic winner. Oh, and by the way, he just earned the win in the Whitney here at Saratoga this year. You want class? This horse has class. And looking at the angles, he's got them all. He's tried this distance 4 times with 1 win, 1 place, and 1 show. And the top buyer at this distance, a whopping 112. Now, he also has that big late surge at the end. And if it's going to be a fast-paced race, expect him to come flying in late, just like we saw in the Whitney. Now, I don't know how you see past this horse. He looks like the one to beat, especially if the pace is as fast as we are projecting. So, all in all, top contender. Now, before we go on to that next contender, if you're finding this information useful, hit like and hit subscribe. Summer may be over, but you want to know what's next? Breeders' Cup, Derby preps. We're getting ready for that big day in May, so follow me and get all of your stats. We are moving on to the number 4 horse, Mindframe. Trained by Todd Pletcher, he'll be ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. Now, he's got some impressive stats. 7 starts, 5 wins, and 2 places, always in the exacta. In terms of angles, he only has 4, but that's not the end of the story, so stay with me. 5 graded stakes entries, 3 wins, and 2 places. Equally as impressive, the 3 wins last 3 starts. He won the G2 Gulfstream Park Mile in March. He stalked the leader, wins 96 Beyer. Then goes to the G1 Churchill Downs Stakes, going 7 furlongs on a sloppy track. Again, stalks the pace, wins 99 Beyer. Last stop was the G1 Stephen Foster, a mile and an eighth at Churchill Downs in June. Stalks the pace, wins with a 105 Beyer. Now here it is. Who did he beat that day? Sierra Leone. Yes, Sierra Leone. And that's why I say you have to put these angles in context, because Sierra Leone may have all the angles, but Mindframe got the better of him that day. This will be Mindframe's second start at the 1.25 mile distance. The only other time he's run this distance was the 2024 Belmont. This track and this distance. Now, he was really green that day. It was only his 3rd start, but he came in 2nd. And who did he beat that day? Sierra Leone. So we are getting a rematch of Mindframe and Sierra Leone. Which one is going to prove to be the best? Mindframe has gotten the best of him 2 times. Mindframe's most likely going to be stalking the leaders, Phileas Fogg and Contrary Thinking. Now, when they turn for home, what is going to happen in the stretch? We have 2 very strong tactical runners, Highland Falls and Mindframe. We have a horse that has a ton of momentum who's going to be coming down the track, and that's Sierra Leone, especially if he gets that pace setup that we think he's going to get. So who's going to be best in this field? Honestly, I don't really know, and it is going to be a super fabulous race to watch. The number 5 horse is White Abarrio, trained by Safi Joseph Jr. He'll be ridden by Ricardo Santana Jr., a 6-year-old with 23 starts, 10 wins, 2 places, and 3 shows. He has tried this distance 2 times and has gotten a win, but it was in 2023, the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now this year, he has had 2 very impressive wins. One I was there for, the G1 Pegasus Cup, a 1.8 miles at Gulfstream. He won by a whopping 6 lengths with a 109 Beyer. And next was also at Gulfstream, the G3 Go Sapper, a 1.16 miles. Now, since those 2 races, he's finished 4th in the G1 Metropolitan Handicap with a 97 Beyer and 4th in the G1 Whitney here at Saratoga behind Sierra Leone, Highland Falls, and Disarm, all who are in this race. And that day, he earned a 103 Beyer. Now looking at his angles, he's got 4, but he misses on running style and a win or a place in the prep. And it's that last one that really bothers me. He came in 4th behind 3 others that day on this track that are back here for this race. If I look to see if anything went wrong with him that day, possibly he was a little bit wide going around the turn, but Sierra Leone was even wider than him, and Sierra Leone won. I love this horse, and man, it was impressive to see him win Pegasus Cup. But for me personally, I really don't see him as a top contender in this race. The number 6 horse is Chad Brown's Contrary Thinking. He'll be ridden by Dylan Davis. 6 starts with 2 wins. When I look at the angles, he is very light on the angles, only getting 1, and that is prepping in the G1 Whitney. Now that day, he was definitely the pace setter. He fell back and he actually stopped and walked off the field. no long distance experience, light on the buyers. I'm not going to spend much time on him today because I really don't see him as a top contender. I expect him to get right to the lead and put some pressure on that pace, but I don't see him being around at the end. The number 7 horse is Phileas Fogg. Trained by Gustavo Rodriguez, he'll be ridden by Kenny Carmouche. Now, out of all the horses that don't have that graded 1 prep race leading into this is the horse that interests me the most. He has raced this distance 3 times with 2 wins in 1 place, so always in the exacta. The first win was in the Excelsior Stakes at Aqueduct. Here, he stalked the leader. He won by an impressive 5 lengths and earned a 98 buyer. Then he goes to the G2 Suburban here at Saratoga in July. Then he goes gate to wire winner. He won by a head over the number 8 horse in this race, Antiquarian, with a 104 buyer. Now I understand these are deeper waters. He's going to be up against Sierra Leone and Mindframe and Highland Falls. But if we look at his angles, he does get 3. He's missing the graded 1 prep, he's missing top speed, and he's missing either top late pace or tactical speed. And I want to talk a little bit about his running style. This horse wants to get to the lead. Many times when he wins, he's going gate to wire. So he's going to play a part in the whole pace scenario. He and contrary thinking may lock up, and it may set up well for the likes of Sierra Leone. But the other thing I want to point out is this. He's horse for course. 2 tries on the Saratoga race course and 2 wins, and also 2 bullet workouts leading into this race. Now, he may not be the winner, but for me personally, I would consider him underneath. The number 8 horse is Antiquarian. Trained by Todd Pletcher, he'll be ridden by Johnny Velasquez. And Johnny Velasquez has been on him for all but 1 start. 8 starts with 3 wins in 3 places. This horse has tried this distance 3 times and only has earned a 2nd place finish. That finish came in his prep race, the G2 Suburban Stakes here at Saratoga. Now he tried to catch the number 7 horse, Phileas Fogg. He missed by a head and earned a 104 buyer. Now looking at his angles, he only gets 2. The finish of a place in his prep and a graded stakes win. He's missing out on a win at this distance, a G1 prep, the right running style and top speed. Now he is a 4-year-old. 4-year-olds can progress, but these are deeper waters, and all in all, I would prefer Pletcher's Mindframe to Antiquarian. And finally, we have the number 9 horse, Banishing. Trained by David Jacobson, he'll be ridden by Jose Lexcano. Now, maybe not. Unfortunately, Jose Lexcano suffered a collarbone fracture after a big spill at Saratoga yesterday, and we hope he heals up quickly. Banishing is a 5-year-old with 23 starts, 9 wins, 5 places, and 2 shows. This year alone, the horse has had 4 wins, but none at this distance. In fact, no starts at this distance. In terms of angles, he's very light on the angles with only 2, a graded stakes win and a win or a place in his prep race. This horse has had 6 graded stakes entries and only 2 wins. One of the wins came in his prep race, the G2 Charlestown Classic, a 1 1/8 on the dirt. Now in this race, the fractions were seriously slow. He wins by 2 1/4 lengths and earns a 100 buyer, but the competitions he's getting here is a lot classier than he beat that day. Plus, he's stretching out to that longer distance, and he's never really gone that before, and I've got horses I can pick that have had that distance. Now, he's been getting the wins recently, but it's really hard for me to see him as a top contender. Now it's your turn. Drop me a comment below. Who are you going to choose in this year's Jockey Club Gold Cup Stakes? Sierra Leone, Mindframe, Highland Falls, one of the long shots? I want to hear from you. Hit like and hit subscribe. Saratoga may be ending, summer may be ending, but I'm not ending. I'm gonna go on to the Breeders' Cup races and also those Derby preps. We're gonna get you ready for Oaks and Derby Day. So make sure you follow me and get all of your stats. I hope you all find your winners this weekend. Cheers.